Good. Okay, so this is your LEGO robotics kit. Everyone will be numbered, so your team will have a numbered one. This is mine, this is number 0. So in this kit, you're going to have a bunch of pieces, some instructions and things like that. On the cover, there's all the pieces listed here. You will have to do an inventory of it to make sure everything's there. And then once you are finished and turn it back into me, then we will inventory it again, and if you're missing anything, then you gotta pay for those. So here I've already organized my pieces into a way that I wanted them. You can do something similar, but when you first get this, it's probably not going to be as organized as this is right now. Inside you're going to have an instruction manual. The instruction manual gives you the basics for how to do just sort of one simple model, but with that simple model you can start to add things and change things, and it's a very good base for you to start with, so I'd suggest you start there. So inside there's going to be your computer, so this is the Mindstorm's basic part of it, where all the programming will be in, and then you'll have a bunch of other parts and stuff inside as well. So first I'm going to walk you guys through just building the basic kit right here, and also talk about some of the pieces and what they do. So the most essential part of this kit is your computer, and so this is our LEGO brick that they like to nickname it. So the brick has a power supply, so the battery is rechargeable. There's also a capability to use AA's, so if it ever needs to, say at a tournament, if this runs out, we can always use the AA's. But we're going to use rechargeables when we can, so this will snap into the back, and it's good to go. The kit does come with a charger, but that'll probably be already attached to a wall, but this just plugs in right there, and then it'll charge up. So on the computer, there's going to be different ports. So if we see on the top and on the bottom, there's different things for things to be plugged in. So these are the wires that come with the kit, and each wire attaches to one of the ports, and that allows it to either receive signals or send signals. Besides that, there's also a PC port. So when we're connecting it to the computer, there's a cord that'll connect to this and then to the computer, and it plugs in where it says PC. And that's how we're going to connect it to the computer to program it. So one of the things you can connect to here are motors, and your kit comes with 3 different motors. So there are 2 large motors and then 1 small motor. And so those motors need a wire to connect to them. And then you're going to connect it to one of these top ports, which are labeled A, B, C, D. And so this right now would be connecting it to the A port, and that would allow me to control this motor. Besides motors, there are sensors. So there is a touch sensor. This is a touch sensor. This is a gyroscope. It has this little symbol, so it's a gyroscope. It senses tilt, so it knows which way you're tilting it around. Here is a light sensor, so this has these 2 little LEDs here. And here is a distance sensor, so it'll know how far things are. And there's actually 2 touch sensors, so 4 sensors, or 5 sensors in total. And then your kit should come with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different wires. They're all of slightly different lengths. And then after that, it's all just the building pieces, so normal LEGO pieces with wheels and things like that. One very useful piece is this, they call it a ball caster, and it allows things to roll around in any direction. So usually this is the 3rd wheel, since your kit only really comes with 2 wheels. You can get other LEGO wheels to put into your robot, but It's very hard to make a 4-wheel robot that moves around as smoothly as one of these with the 3 wheels, or else you have to make it move like a tank all the time, and it's much more difficult. So yeah, let's look at the pieces now. In terms of pieces, you get a lot of these type of pieces of different shapes and sizes. There are connectors. There's the black ones when you really don't want things to move around. They're pretty sturdy as the black ones. If you want things to slide a lot, there are the gray ones. So the gray allows things to slide very easily. There are ones that extend through a piece. So this one can go all the way through, and that way you can attach things on 2 sides. And that's very useful. There are some little rods that will attach to different things where it doesn't allow things to move around. So these kind of axles stick in and can't really be twisted through certain things. There's gears. The gears we won't get into too much in this build, but they allow you to turn things in different areas when you connect 2 together and change the amount of power or things like that, or where the power is going, by using different gears and having them attach. There are quite a lot of bent pieces, so these allow you to start to make your creations more 3D a lot easier. So use those for sure, especially these box ones. Very good for strength and just the way you start your robot. There's other little rubber pieces that you can learn to use to create different sorts of movement in there. That was Nil, our cat. Okay, so I'm gonna now just do the building of the first robot that you see right here. I'm gonna do this as a time lapse, so you're not gonna hear me say anything. It's just gonna go through at super speed, and then I'll put it all together as kind of a super fast forward. Okay, so this is the most basic of the robots with just the ability to move around. There's no sensors, there's nothing else put to it. But for our little introduction right here, that's good enough. If you want to continue after learning how to program this one, then there are plenty of instructions on how to add on some of the other sensors, build in some arms, use the gyroscope, and all of the other things that you can test out and use with this robot and attach. So all these will just simply attach onto this, and you can use the software and the manual to try out all the other things that you want to try out. So I'm just going to go with this, and now that we have a robot, this robot has its computer, it's got its motors, and then eventually we'll add some sensors and stuff, but for now we can just work with this. Now that we have it, it still doesn't do anything. We now need to program it. And there's 2 ways of doing this. There's using your computer with the Mindstorm software, and there's actually also some built-in software that you can use with just on its own. So if you look in your instruction manual, it gives you sort of the instructions step by step of what buttons to press to see different things. It has a little demonstration for the first part here, so if you just find the demo program, then it can do its own little demo thing, so I'll show you that right now. So the middle button is the power button, so if you hold that down, then it all starts to start up. It has a little bit of wait time to start up, and it'll the red light will go off once it's ready to go, and it'll have a little confirmation beep, and then we can start to use the software and do the programming part of it. Okay, so now the green light's on, it's ready to go. So you're going to see there's the little play menu or folder, and this is of all your recently played programs. If you press the right button, you get to your file menu, and so you can see there's a bunch of different folders here, and so these are different things that people have tried out. And so if I want to do the little demo one, I find this block program save, press the middle button, and it has a demo. So if I press the demo one, then it's going to start to run, and it's got its own little demo program. Whew. Keep in mind it doesn't have any sensors, so it's not going to know if it's going to run off your table or anything, so be careful. But then we know it's basically working. Everything's connected, pretty much good to go. So we're going to first do some programming on there of just making it go forward. So I'm basically following the instructions that are in the booklet. I'm not going to follow them exactly, but if you want to follow them exactly, just press the button that's highlighted in red and it'll let you do what you need to do. Okay, so I'm going to go over to this next menu, which has a bunch of different options here for looking at your brick and what's connected to it and just other things you can do. On the very right is the settings menu, so the volume and some other things, and but we're not going to do that now. So we're going to go over to this third menu. Then we want to go down to brick program. And so this is what it starts out with. It basically has a plus sign here. This is a visual programming language, so the plus sign means when it starts, and then here it's got a little repeat command. So if you move side to side, it kind of highlights the different bricks, and if you go in the middle, it has this line that says press up to add something. So I want to add something. So now these are all the visual commands. You have to kind of think about what did your different parts look like. So I had these two different motors attached. So if I want these two motors to go forward, I'm going to highlight that one, press the center button again, and now it's in there. So it's got the motor going forward, and it's going to do motors B and C. So all that is adjustable. So if I press on it, then I can start to adjust some of the things in here. So if I want it to, say, go in a circle, go backwards, that's all there. I just scroll up and down to get there. So I want to go forwards. Now I'm going to add another command, so I have it highlighted right in the middle. And so now I'm going to press up again. I'm going to go up a few times to find the clock, which is the wait command. So I'm going to say go on, and then I'm going to have a little wait. And so I'm going to have it wait for, let's say, 1 second. So I want to adjust this, and that's going to be 1 second. Let me add one more command. So I want it to, let's say, go backwards. So now I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to change this to make the arrow go backwards. Then I'm going to add one more wait. I want to go backwards for 1 second. So I'm going to adjust that down to 1. And that should be good. So now if I want to test it, I'm going to go to the play. And then once I press it, it's going to run it. So there you go. You see the motors ran for 1 second forward, then 1 second backwards. So let me put that here. And let's see it do that. So yeah, that's basically it. And now I can go and I can adjust things. So if I want it to, instead of just going forwards, I'll highlight this, change it to, let's say I want it to go in a circle. Let's give it a little bit more time because it's got to go in the circle. And then let's see if I can make it circle around the other way. Is that the other way? Yeah, it's the other way. And let's do that for 2 seconds. Okay, so let's try running that. Okay, so it kind of looks like it's probably doing what I want it to do. Let's give you guys a little view. So there we go. So it went in a circle, just like the little thing says. So now, let's save it. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to the save button, and it just says brick program 1.
I don't like that name, so I'm going to delete it. And I'm going to call this Allen Spin. Go to the check mark box. And there you go. So now it's the Allen Spin. So I'm going to press this to go back. And so this should be saved under the brick program saved. So there's my Allen Spin. And if I press the center button again, then it should do the exact same thing. It's just running the same program. And there we go. So let's say I'm done, don't want to do any more programming, and it's time for packing up. So you're going to press the back button until you get to this menu, which is a shutdown. Go to the check mark and press it, and it'll say shutting down, and you're good to go. Okay, so my final little part of this video is how to connect this to the computer and use some of the software on the computer. And I'm not going to tell you how to program on the computer because there's some tutorials on the program, but you will have to basically teach yourself. So first you just need to find your applications on a Mac. This is going to be in my applications folder, but on the PC you're going to go to the start menu, programs, find LEGO Mindstorms, and then open that. But so here I'm just finding this LEGO software. Got to start up my LEGO brick, and you're going to need the USB cable, which comes with the kit. So one side, the bigger one, goes to the computer, smaller one's going to go to the brick, and that's how they're going to communicate. So on the computer, figure out where the USB ports are and just plug it in. And then you're going to plug in the small end to the part of your LEGO brick that says PC and just hit it up there. So you're going to go to the lobby and you're going to go to the menu down here. It says Robot Educator. You'll click on that, and this is where they basically teach you how to do everything. So you're probably going to start with basics. These basics tell you how to do the different things with the block, and it has the different robots. So there's the robot that I just made, and that's the one to start with, configuring the blocks. It's going to be the same for straight move, curved move, tank move, and it'll all kind of be the same until you get to the stop at a line and do some others, and then you'll have to attach some of the different sensors. But basically, if you go through this entire thing, you don't need me to teach you anything, and I actually haven't gone through the whole thing, so you will be able to teach yourself. There are some building instructions, so if you want to do the instructions on here, there's all the different things that are in the paper manual, plus some more. So there's quite a few little cool things in here where you can build some other stuff. Oh, it's up here. So if you have the core set, there's some model instructions, and so there's a cool one called Gyro Boy, which stands on 2 wheels using the gyroscope. There's a machine that's called the color sorter. It can sense different colors and move them around. There's a little puppy that has things that it reacts, and there's a little robot arm that you can kind of control to move around and stuff and use a color sensor. So that's basically it. So you are now basically going to have to teach yourself how to program, how to build other parts of the robot, and that's all I'm going to teach you about making your robot. It's up to you to teach yourselves, help each other out, and do the best that you can to engineer and program your robot to complete the missions in the challenge.